How do I get my cards graded? That's the question we're going to answer today is how do I get my cards graded through PSA? And more specifically, I'm really talking to the people that are either A, not comfortable sending their cards off through PSA, or you don't know how to do it, or this is your first time grading and you need help with it. So I did a video a couple weeks ago and I showed my PSA returns. I got my cards graded through PSA, but I had Ludkins Collectables do the paperwork and do all the difficult stuff for me. And honestly, I'm not sponsored by them, so just getting that out of the way early. I'm just a big fan of what they did and how they helped me. Now I had some really good, I got 2 PSA 10 Pokemon cards. So in the eye above, definitely after this video, go check that out because it's a really good return. And I had a lot of people comment on the video and say, okay, can you walk me through how to do it? So I want to walk you through how to do it, and honestly, it's very simple. So first, before we jump into that, I want to show you what I'm going to get graded. I'm only going to get graded 5 cards today because it got me to a price break. So I wanted to just keep it simple and show you what I'm going to be grading. So there's a couple things that you'll notice about this, and I'll explain them after. So we've got an Umbreon. This card, I'm going to put it in the title, but I'm pretty sure it's a couple $100 if you get a PSA 10. And I was very selective on the cards that I was choosing for grading. I wanted ones that are going to be high value. And yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about that later. So an Umbreon, beautiful card. We've got the Mewtwo. I pulled this bad boy as well. The centering is mostly perfect on it, but a little bit shifted up, so I'm a little nervous that it could be a 9, but I'm hopeful for a 10. Yes, King Lizard Charizard himself. This guy is mostly centered perfect. It might be shifted up as well, but pulled him off camera. That still hurts me a little bit. But it was still an amazing experience. I was a lot of fun with that. And then I'm getting a couple hockey cards graded as well. So this is a Jean Beliveau rookie card. It is pretty rough. I expect it'll be a PSA 1, but I want to get it encapsulated. And then this is a very small hockey card. This is Emile Bouchard, also known as Butch. This is his rookie card from 1951. And he is a Hall of Famer just like Jean Beliveau, and sorry, not just a Hall of Famer, but his number was retired from the Montreal Canadiens. So I'm adding that to my collection as well. So I'm just getting those 5 cards done today. Now, a couple things you will notice is that there's this little tab up here, and you're thinking, okay, what is that little tab for? That little tab is my way of making the life of the grader a little bit easier. So they're able to pull it and bring it out. Now it's not right on the card, obviously. I've got it in a penny sleeve. So obviously you've got your penny sleeves. These are really important. And then I've got them in the Card Saver 1. So these Card Saver 1s right now are actually difficult to find, but they are a flexible card saver, and this is what PSA requires you to send them in. Now, Ludkins doesn't, and I will explain that in a moment, but this is the way that I set it up. I want these cards to be handled the least amount possible. I want to make it an easy experience for the grader to get the card out without damaging it. I want them to, just look at it and see that I've taken the time to care and properly submit my cards. So that is something that I have decided to do, and I was rewarded pretty well actually with the first submission I did. I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but this is just probably just a helpful tip, I will say. So yes, Card Saver 1s, they're just little post-it notes that you stick onto the back of the penny sleeve when you slide them in. So that's something to be aware of. So those are the cards that I'm going to be submitting. Now, I do want to get into the website, so I'm going to jump into that right now. Okay, so we're going to jump into it here. So as you can see on my screen now, we are at ludkinscollectables.com. So this is where you're going to go. The benefit of Ludkins, again, as I mentioned, is that this is for people that maybe don't know how to do the submission. They're a little bit nervous about it. I submitted 20 base set holographic cards, and they came back, and it was a pretty incredible experience. Now, I am from Canada. Ludkins is in the United States, and they do actually have a UK and US EU operation. So that is something for the European collectors out there. Definitely check them out if you are interested in getting PSA graded. They are a great middleman. So when we look at the website here, you will see there is a Downloader UK and EU brochure, or the USA. I'm going to go through the USA one today just because they're pretty similar. But if you are from Europe, this still will be, for the most part, relevant for you as well. So when we click on the US brochure here, there's a lot of information on here. Now, one thing that I will mention is that because of the ongoing challenge that is in our world right now, everyone knows what I'm talking about, that has slowed everything down. The hobby of Pokemon cards, of sports cards, have boomed. People are collecting more than ever because what else is there to do? Let's just go spend money, open up some fun cards, and then let's get them graded. So PSA, Beckett, CGC, all these grading companies have really benefited from it, and it's been really good for the hobby in most ways. If you want to buy, it's not certainly a buyer's market, it's certainly a seller's market, but this has affected lead times. My first submission was supposed to take 90 days. It ended up taking 7 months. So with that being said, they do have some quicker options that are actually quite cost effective. So in Ludkins, there are 3 different levels: Platinum, Gold, and Standard. Platinum is not available right now because PSA is so backed up. But that is to be expected, and you don't want them to rush. This is some important stuff. So on here, there's a lot of important information talking about who is Ludkins, talking about who is PSA, why do you grade your cards, and I mean that answer is really a personal one. Are you trying to make money at it? Are you doing it just to protect your cards? Or are you doing it to display your cards? For me, for the most part, it's to display them, because having them in a binder and them being closed and not seeing the light of day, I really am proud of a lot of my collection, and I'd love to get it graded and show it off to the world. So one thing I will mention as well, they're really good at Pokemon cards. They're good at sports cards. I actually had them do an autograph card for me, and I've had them do sports tickets. I had a ticket for a Montreal Canadian 100th anniversary game that I went to, and then I actually had a ticket for the 2010 Winter Olympics gold medal game between Canada and the United States that I had them grade. And it was a great experience. They had never done a ticket before, through being a middleman for that. So I think it was probably a learning experience for them as well, but it worked out very, very well. So fees. This is the standard service. This is the cheapest route that you can go. So obviously for one card, this is in US dollars, $13.89. Quite reasonable, actually, which is nice. And then it gets cheaper as you submit more cards. Now, I only decided to go with 5 this time, so that's $11.89 per card. The last time I submitted 20, was $10.39. So there's a decent price break. And now this includes a lot, but we'll get to that in a second. The gold service, which is what I'm going to choose for this because I want to get these back in a pretty decent time. So I'm going to be paying $13.39. Now the difference in speed is that this is approximately 70 business days. Now I will say, as it saw at the top, it's close to 6 to 7 months right now. This one is regularly 50 business days, but they've mentioned that it's anywhere between, I think it was 45 to 85 business days. So you still are a while, but it's a little bit quicker. And I think for the $2 a card or $1.50 a card extra, I'm happy to pay that. So, and Platinum is not available right now. So what is included in this? And how do I do it? And how do I actually get started? So we're going to get to that. Pre-screening. This is really cool. So this is for non-sports cards only. This is for Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh, those types of cards. So what they'll actually do is they're going to send you an email, and at the end of this video, I'm going to wait until I get that pre-screening back so I can show you in this video what that looks like. So they're going to send you an email, and it's going to say, hey, we got your cards. Here is what we think they're going to be graded. So they're actually going to give their prediction, which is really cool for a couple reasons. So it gives you an idea, especially if you've never done it before. Is this a 2? Is this a 4? Is this a 10? They're going to give you their idea, and they're going to explain a little bit. Maybe there's some scratching in the hollow or edge wear or whitening on the back. They're going to kind of give a little bit of a breakdown on that as well. And are they right every time? No. But they were wrong and guessed that one of my cards was going to be an 8 to 9, and it came back as a 10. So that is a pretty acceptable way to be wrong, I would say. I'm sure they're a little bit more cautious with their predictions, but again, it comes down to the grader who's actually looking at it and making that decision to what your card is. So What's really cool about that, and it mentions down here in the pre-screening, say for example, you want nothing less than an 8, or you think it's a 9, and they say, well, you know what, we think it's going to be a 7. You can actually say at that part, when they send that pre-screen, you are going to have to give your blessing to say, yes, send everything. But if there's a card that they say, oh, this is going to come back, we think is a 5, and if you're like, hey, you know what, I don't want to spend the money, you can tell them, hold that card, don't send it off to PSA. When the cards come back from PSA, they will put it back in with that package and send it back to you. And it's only going to charge you a nominal fee. They charge you $1.99. So that's pretty good service, to be honest with you, especially if you don't know what your cards are going to be graded as. So definitely something to consider. Now they do include the card savers, so they will be giving these card savers with it. So they actually recommend that you send them in a top loader. Without tape at the top. I know this one has tape at it, but they don't want you to tape the top. So they actually recommend that you send them in top loaders and then obviously penny sleeved. You can certainly follow their recommendation. I like just skipping the step of them having to take it out and put it in a card saver. It's kind of just, it's peace of mind for me that I'm the one handling it. I don't want someone else damaging it, because if I damage it, that's one thing, but if someone else does, I think we would all feel pretty bummed if someone else damaged the card and it wasn't ourselves. So that's just my recommendation. They do ask for top loaders, but card savers are provided for them, which is good because they are actually tough to find. Postage to PSA, they pay for the shipping from their offices to PSA, the PSA grading fee, the postage back from PSA, and then even return postage to you, which is pretty incredible. In that price that we talked about, so for me with these 5, it's going to be $13.39, and in all of that you get all of that shipping, that card saver, you get everything included. That is a pretty good deal, to be honest with you. Now, one caveat to that is that postage, return postage is within the United States only. For myself, I was in Canada when they sent back those 20 cards. I think it cost me like $20 US. So it wasn't terribly expensive for them to ship it back to me. So that is something to be aware of if you are international. So another thing that I want to mention is that this is really for bulk cards. And what do bulk cards mean? Bulk cards mean anything that is under value of $199. Now, when we look at these cards that I'm submitting a Charizard, I'm submitting a Mewtwo, an Umbreon, and then a couple rookie cards that probably aren't worth that much. But that Charizard, we know if that's a PSA 10, that is probably a couple $1,000s. So what do we do in that case? Because these are services only for anything under $199. When PSA grades the card, and this, if you go direct through PSA, they actually charge you based on what the value of the card is. So they're going to replicate that as well. So after the fact, if your card gets graded high enough, where it's deemed higher than $199, then they're going to actually charge you a fee after the fact. So something to be aware of. So I was actually chatting with Charlie. Charlie is the director. He runs the US operations. He's an amazing guy. Honestly, you're going to love it if you deal with him. If the value is between $200 and $499, PSA is going to most likely will charge an additional $10. If the value of that card is between $500 and $999, they may charge an additional $30. If the value of your card is between $1,000 and $2,500, they may charge another $62. This is all in US dollars, by the way. And if it's over $2,500, it's something that certainly has to be discussed, and you're going to want to discuss that case by case before you do the submission. So if you have a very high, if you're submitting a Babe Ruth rookie card or something like that, yeah, I probably would maybe have some further conversations before you do that. But this Charizard is probably going to fall into that top category. So I'm going to have to pay an additional $62 for that grade. And that is what it is. If you're going to submit through anywhere, PSA, directly, you're going to be paying more for that service just because it's higher value. They take more care with it. They do a lot more research. So something to be aware of. And that bill actually does come at the end. So when they email you saying, hey, your cards are ready, here's what these cards came back graded as, boom, 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 and here's how much you owe. So it's a bit of a spoiler, I will say. They do tell you ahead of time what the grades are. You could probably request them not. Just if you want to have a surprise, or if you're sharing the video or something like that, But it's still, it's a really, really exciting experience to get your cards back and graded. It's such a fun experience. So that really sums up about everything. There is lots of different things that you can go through. There is a checklist on here that it's going to walk you through how to mail it in to them, where you email. So, familiar yourselves with the website, but it says notify us of the intent at ludkinsusa@gmail.com. So what you do is you email them, you say, hey, Charlie, I'm going to be sending in these cards. And they say, okay, awesome, sounds great. Send it here. Here's the address. It's in Virginia. There's their address. Mail off their cards, package them well. Definitely, you're going to want to do your best to make sure they get there safely. Trackable, of course. And then when they get it, it's going to take a couple days. Once you'll see it arrived, give them a couple days to process it. They're going to go through it, look at it, see what they believe the grade's going to be. Then they're going to email you back. So in a moment, I'm going to show you what their predictions were for my grades. Yeah, we'll finish up from there. So it's been a couple weeks and I got my pre-check results back from Ludkins. So I wanted to share with you what they thought the cards were going to be graded. Again, it was only the 3 Pokemon cards and then the 2 sports cards. They do not give you kind of a guess for the sports cards, but for the Pokemon and any trading cards, they will give a guess. So this is what the email looks like here. And as you can see, I've redacted some important information. But it pretty much is just saying, okay, this is our guess. We're, giving you an idea of what we think it's going to be. And as I kind of expected, they're going to be probably 9s or 10s, with them all being 10 candidates, which is excellent. I mean, obviously that Charizard, I would love for that to be a 10. So you get this. And then the one thing, as I did mention earlier, if I change my mind, if I said, hey, you know what? You think the Umbreon's going to be a 7 for whatever reason, and because I missed something, I would say, you know what? Don't grade it. They're only going to charge you $2, and they're going to pull it from the submission. They're going to hold on to it until they get the cards back, and then they'll send it back to you ungraded and only charge you $2. So very, very cool service, especially for people that don't know what they're looking for with grading. And I'm hopefully going to do a video on ideas of what you should be looking for with grading. So I've got a loop, I've got all those things to kind of give some explanations, because even myself, my first few times I submitted things, probably shouldn't have submitted things. So it's always good to get a lesson. So later in the day, you'll actually get another email, and this is going to tell you how much you owe. So for the 5 cards, this is in US dollars again. So if I want to do the standard submission and they put the date, the timing is variable. So I mean, honestly, for the $7, $7.50 to get up to that gold total for 45 to 85 days, I'd probably recommend that. Now they are mentioning here that there is the platinum level, which is still available. I'm surprised. I didn't think it was still available. It may not be. It could just be, in the email for whatever reason. But I'm going to do the gold total. That's 45 to 85, and I will mention those are business days. They're not just regular days, they're business days. So Monday to Friday, they're not counting weekends. Or holidays. And then as it mentions here, as I talked about earlier, and I guess it was a week ago when I recorded the first part of this video, this is for bulk tier pricing for $199. So if it's over that, they reserve the right to charge you more. So I fully expect that I'm probably going to be charged more on at least the Charizard, maybe all 3 of them. We'll see, because those are some higher valued ones. But so it's going to be 45 to 85 business days until I get it back. I didn't want to hold this video until I get that back because I wanted to share this information with you guys, because you probably want to submit your cards too. So definitely in the link below is the Ludkins website. Go check them out. Charlie's an awesome guy. He's helped me with a bunch of different submissions, and I'm going to continue to do more. So yeah, that's it. It's pretty easy to do. It's a lot of fun. It is stressful. Because I can tell you, me shipping these cards that you saw, the Charizard, the Umbreon, the Mewtwo, and those sports cards as well, when I ship those in the mail, boy, am I nervous. And because if it gets lost, what are you going to do, right? You can get insurance on it, and all that, but it is much more expensive for a variety of reasons. But obviously, you got to do whatever you're comfortable with. So definitely look at grading your cards. It's a fun experience. And a lot of people do it for a lot of different reasons. So some people do it to make money, some people do it to protect their cards, some people do it because it's sentimental, but definitely consider it if it's right for you. So thanks for watching. You will see in the next couple of months the return from Ludkins, and I'm excited to find out what that's going to be. So thanks very much, guys. Hope you're having an amazing day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.